Microsoft just changed Xbox forever. What is up, y'all, and welcome to Xbox Ready, my YouTube channel that is all about Xbox. In today's video, we're gonna talk about, well, some changes that you may have already heard about. And before you say it, no, this is not about any like crazy changes on the prices of consoles. I'm done talking about the Game Pass I can't even say it anymore. Game Pass price increases. I'm done with that. I'm moving on. I got a new desk, I got a new attitude, but you know, sometimes change happens whether you like it or not. And it's always important to talk about change. You see, before everyone was complaining and making videos about Xbox increasing prices, they were complaining about the fact that they were seemingly giving up on exclusive games. Let's travel back in time to February 2024, when these rumors saying, oh, they're giving up on exclusives, we're gonna start seeing Halo, Gears, Forza on rival platforms. It's gonna be the end of Xbox. This is crazy. The discourse got so out of hand. There was so much confusion that Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty had a special episode of the Xbox official podcast. And they were like, hey, here's the deal. We're gonna start with 4 games: Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, and I was gonna say South of Midnight. What was that 4th game again? South of No, it's not South of Midnight. Fuck. Hold on. Pentiment, Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, and what's that 4th one, dude? What's that 4th? No, this is actually gonna kill me. Hold on. I gotta remember.
I'm not gonna name those games.
Grounded. Okay, yes. Grounded. Those 4 games were gonna be multi-platform. But as we all know, it was not just those 4 games. Those 4 games were just a test, and they tested well enough for Xbox to say, you know what? Let's put other former exclusive games onto other platforms. You know, we were just kind of focusing on these older games, not necessarily iconic Xbox console exclusives, you know, but now how about we try and go ahead and put Indiana Jones onto PlayStation 5 as well. And oh, that did really well. So let's go ahead and put Forza Horizon 5. You know what? Why stop there? We brought Forza over. Let's bring Gears over as well. Put Gears Reloaded onto PlayStation 5. Looking back on it, it was the natural progression of things and Xbox's philosophy, but there was a time where people were convinced, stone cold sure, that, oh yeah, they would put Sea of Thieves onto PS5, but they would never, ever in a million years put something like Halo onto PlayStation. Well, do I got news for you. This weekend is the Halo World Championship up in Seattle, and for the event, Xbox had a very special announcement for us: the reveal of Halo Campaign Evolved, the remake done entirely in Unreal Engine 5 of Halo Combat Evolved. They're targeting a 2026 release date for this. This is the first game being shipped by Halo Studios following their rebrand from 343 Industries, and it's supposed to be coming out in 2026, just in time for the 25th anniversary of Xbox. Would it have been cool if they revealed, I don't know, like a new Halo game, like, you know, Halo Infinite 2 or something else entirely? Sure, but this is pretty dope too. If PlayStation can remake frickin' Last of Us and Horizon Forbidden West and all sorts of other games, Xbox can have this one remake of one of their most iconic games ever. But it is also going to be releasing for PlayStation 5, so for the first time ever in 2026, you'll be able to drive around in a Warthog, plant sticky grenades on elites, and just kick ass as Master Chief on a PlayStation console. Before I get into my thoughts on that, let's talk about the game itself, because I got to play a little demo of this prior to the reveal. No one's gotten a whole review copy just yet. I got just a little snippet of a preview. I played a little bit of the Silent Cartographer map, and they make it very clear, even when you're playing the game, that this is pre-alpha, this is still a work in progress. Yeah, I get that, because it was a little bit buggy at times, but overall, I was really happy with what I saw. A lot of people, when they were revealing Project Foundry, this shift into Unreal Engine 5, and these sample visuals that they had for us. Gosh, that was like almost a year ago. That's crazy. But to a lot of people, it was like, it looks like it's made in Unreal Engine 5. It looks Unreal Engine 5-y. At least in the actual gameplay, I don't get those same vibes. It looks crisp, it looks clean, it looks less like Master Chief in Fortnite and more like Halo 3 and any game after that. The cutscenes are a little bit of a different story. There is a little bit of that gloss, a little bit of that softness, I guess. It's hard to explain, but it overall looked really, really good. Even though it was a little bit buggy, a little bit stuttery, especially in those action sequences. You can sprint in Campaign Evolved, which honestly was super helpful. The Warthog looks great. The aiming reticle looks really awesome, especially when you're dealing damage, those splashes that you get. This made me optimistic for the franchise's shift into Unreal Engine 5. This still felt like Halo, not like some bastardized, cartoonish version of it. And I forgot how humbling this game can be. I was like, yeah, I run this shit on heroic, or at least I used to. I run in and immediately just get killed. I'm like, oh yeah, you can't do any like the fancy pants Call of Duty jumping around like a tweaked out psycho over here down the block from me. You have to actually be good, have some strategy, hit your shots, and it felt really great. It felt smooth. Pistol whipping the crap out of grunts, super satisfying, and it looked great. Honestly, I can't complain, but again, I only played for like 20, 25-ish minutes. So don't take this as gospel. It's not a huge sample size. But again, I'm optimistic. There's some features that I didn't get to experience myself, but they talk a little bit about it in the roundtable and on the Xbox Wire post. They're supporting 4-player campaign co-op for this game, which is obviously a big deal because the original only had 2. They do stipulate that that is reserved for online play only, but we are still gonna get that local 2-player campaign co-op. A lot of hurt feelings about the campaign co-op, the local side of it for Halo Infinite. So I'm happy that they went ahead and just got that out of the way and assured us right off the bat. They're throwing in some quote-unquote enhancements to some of the levels as well. Some new dialogue, some weapons that previously you weren't able to use on certain missions. Going back to the PlayStation stuff though, I know, it's crazy. Like, we're living in a crazy world. They kind of softened the blow for us a little bit by already putting Forza and Gears onto PlayStation. But still, it's like Master Chief on PlayStation, that was Mr. Xbox right there. And I guess it's not as crazy because out of all of the other franchises that I've just mentioned that have made their way over to PlayStation, they're all older games, right? Gears Reloaded, just a remaster of Ultimate. Forza Horizon 5, 4-year-old game, and Campaign Evolved, a remake of that original game. I mean, it's not as bad as it could be, but we know it's coming, right? We know Forza Horizon 6 is going to be on PlayStation. They haven't mentioned it, but I bet you anything that Gears of War E-Day is going to launch simultaneously on both platforms as well. And obviously that means any new Halo game is going to follow suit. I'm surprised they didn't say, fuck it, let's just put Master Chief Collection on PlayStation. That's what I was expecting. There's a lot of back and forth as to why they're doing this. Why is Xbox, why are they selling their souls and making money? That's something PlayStation and Nintendo would never do. They don't care about money. Well, we might just have some new insight into why they're doing this, why they're doing any of these things at all, because Bloomberg just published this very interesting article claiming that Microsoft has imposed just these insane expectations on Xbox and just the entire gaming division. They want 30% accountability margins. That's what they're calling profit margins. And 30% is, I don't know if you've been keeping up with the profit margins of different studios and publishers and platform holders, but that's insane. Even when there's this big tech boom, gaming boom, social media boom back in 2020, 2021, when everyone was inside on their phone, playing video games, watching TV, the profit margins for the most successful people in gaming especially were somewhere around like 22%. A 30% profit margin is like considered just absolutely domination. Insane. Jason Schreier alleges that this new standard that Microsoft has set for Xbox, 30% accountability margins, that's the reason why we're seeing all of this crazy stuff in the news cycle regarding Xbox. Layoffs, canceled games, multi-platform games, price increases for consoles, price increases for Game Pass. Over the past 6 years, Jason Schreier said that Xbox's profit margin has been anywhere from 10 to 20%. Even for PlayStation, that would be insane numbers because apparently in the first quarter of 2025, their profit margin was like 16%. 30%. And according to Bloomberg, this now means that games that are cheap to make or considered more likely to make lots of money may take priority over riskier projects. Xbox's floundering hardware division, meanwhile, may face a significant rethinking. So no wonder they're like, yeah, we can't just release Halo Campaign Evolved on Xbox consoles, on PC, on Steam. We got to get PlayStation in on this as well, because if we don't get that 30% number, allegedly, we are fucked. If Master Chief doesn't bring in the money for us, well, looks like we're gonna have to shut down Halo Studios. Like, is that what we're going to right now? It really kind of sucks, because the prevailing belief, especially at the beginning of this generation, was that Xbox was gonna be fine no matter what, because they're bankrolled by Microsoft. Microsoft wouldn't even notice the money that Xbox is losing, because in the grand scheme of things, they're making trillions of dollars. It would be nothing for them. That golden handcuff seems to be running out, and it brings up serious questions on the future of some of our favorite Xbox franchises. The one thing I'll say though is, yes, the way we got here was a little crazy, but overall, Master Chief making his way over to PlayStation consoles, that could ultimately be a good thing. There's a lot of talk about the death of Xbox consoles, the death of Xbox hardware, despite the fact that Xbox leadership is like, no, we're still making hardware, still making consoles. People are still of the belief that we're heading towards a future where there's not gonna be any Xbox consoles at all. In the event that that happens, where are we gonna play our Xbox games? Does my digital library mean nothing? In this age of fear and hysteria, this just overall sense of doom regarding Xbox consoles specifically, I know that they're doing it for money, for the profit margins or whatever, but there is something to be said about them making sure their games work on things other than a true blue Xbox console. Whether that's cloud gaming, whether it's a PC, whether it's other consoles like a PlayStation. Yes, Master Chief was a champion of the Xbox console, a symbol of console exclusivity and how it can launch a successful platform. But him jumping on over to PlayStation ensures that his legacy will endure. And on top of that, there's going to be a whole new audience that will get to experience for the first time what is, in my opinion, an essential game for any fan of gaming, at least any fan of FPS games in general. They should play this at least once. Sure, there's a lot of craziness happening in the world of Xbox right now. The price increases, the story about the profit margins and the layoffs, the studio closures, all that. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But in the grand scheme of things, honestly, the exclusivity stuff, the multi-platform stuff, that doesn't bother me as much anymore. I've definitely softened when it comes to that discourse, to that rhetoric. Because honestly, I just realized that it really doesn't affect me at all. It really doesn't, and it hasn't really affected the quality of the games. Let's not forget that Xbox has been pumping out first-party games at a really strong rate. And they've been pretty damn good. Even with the price raises for the consoles and Game Pass, you can't take that away from them. Doom the Dark Ages was really fun. Oblivion Remaster, super fun. South of Midnight, it may not be everyone's cup of tea. It may not be perfect. That was really cool. Indiana Jones you can throw in there as well. They were pumping out all these games, which is what everyone is making fun of them for so long. And they were like, okay, yeah, we have games now. Here they are. So yeah, the restructuring is crazy. Kind of surprising to see that Master Chief is going to be on PlayStation, but overall, I still think that if Xbox can pull off this pivot, if they can shed all this extra bullshit about the profit margins and just kind of realign themselves post Activision Blizzard and focus in, lock in, they can deliver some really, really cool stuff. Because now that they revealed Halo Campaign Evolved, which is coming out in 2026, that year we're getting Campaign Evolved, we're getting Forza Horizon 6, Gears of War E-Day, and Fable, all in the same year. That's something to celebrate. That's something to look forward to. And no, you don't have to subscribe to a $30 tier of Game Pass in order to play them. That's never been the case. You could just, I don't know, do it like the old days and buy the game outright, own it, and play it. I've often said on this channel that Xbox is the platform of options, flexibility. Those options are still there. You don't have to buy a $1,000 Xbox console or even a $650 Series X. There are multiple ways to play your Xbox games, and while there's been a lot of back and forth in that, a lot of criticism, I still think that core premise of not being forced to buy a specific thing in order to play games, that's something that can ultimately be really, really cool and good for the industry. Anyways, guys, that's all all the Xbox stuff I have to talk about today. Thanks so much for joining me for another edition of Xbox Ready. If you made it this far into the video, consider subscribing. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.